Welcome to my channel and welcome to my summer recommendations. Books that I think that you should read this summer. First things first, I would like to say that if you're hearing birds chirping or any like outdoor sounds, that's because I am filming in front of a window because it's very warm today. So if you have an issue with that, there's nothing I can do. Just take it as in like an ambience, like a summery ambience. I'm hoping that you cannot hear it that much, but I can hear very loudly, so we'll see how that will go. But I wanted to give you some recommendations for books that I think are perfect for summer, books that I have already read, I have already enjoyed, and I think that you should read them so you can have an amazing summer. I have, I think, around 20 books, but some of them are like series, so I count it as one book, but it's a series actually. I'm gonna start with a Christina Lauren book. We have The Paradise Problem. I read this last year. It's a perfect summary book. I really enjoyed it. It's very short, I would say, and it's definitely one of the best Christina Lauren books that I have ever read. For me, they're kind of hit or miss authors. This one was great. I think I gave it 4.5 stars, something like that, like a very high rating because it was so good. It takes place in an island, if I remember correctly, and it's fake marriage. It was very funny. This is essentially a perfect rom-com, a perfect summary rom-com. So this is my first book. And then I have a series. So we have Love Redesigned and Love Unwritten. Love Unwritten is definitely my favorite book out of the two. It's definitely the biggest one out of the two. Like, it's a huge book, but I enjoyed it so much. This takes, half of it takes place in Hawaii, so I think that this also makes it very summery. But as a series, it's also very, very summery. It has some very summery vibes. Small town. I think that small town is very summery kind of trope. It obviously takes place in a lake. I think that there's like a map too. There's a map too, and I think that it's so fun. Obviously, these are very easy. I know that this one seems very intimidating because it is a very big book. For me, I actually binged this book. This is best friends to enemies to lovers, and it's kind of like a second chance romance too. Whereas this one is like single dad ex-nanny romance. Love this book so much. This was so close to being 5 stars. Actually, I'm kind of wondering if I should give it 5 stars because I think I gave it 4.75, which is so close. And the only like issue that I had with it was the fact that it was 50 pages longer than what it should have been. But I still am thinking about this book. I think that the characters were so good. They were definitely like my kind of tea. She's more so like a sunshine type of female main character, and he is more so like a grumpy male character, which, if you know me, that's my bread and butter. So I would highly recommend these 2 books and this series in total. The third book is coming out at the end of summer. I think it's coming out in August. I'm definitely gonna be picking it up. And then the only young adult book that you will see me recommending in this video is Tilly in Technicolor by Maisie Edmonds. This is a book that I read, I think, spring last year, and it's essentially a young adult book. Actually, I might even call it new adult because both of the characters are above 18, so I feel like that classifies it as new adult. But essentially, you have Tilly and Oliver. Tilly, I think she has ADHD, if I'm not mistaken, and Oliver is autistic. Tilly doesn't want to go to university, so she takes kind of like, not a gap year, but she takes the summer before university as kind of like a vacation, an opportunity, and she goes to Europe to help her sister with her new business because she needs like a hand model, I think. And she ends up traveling with Oliver because Oliver is kind of like the photographer for her sister's brand. He is not older. He's also like, I think around 18, 19, something like that. So they are the same age. It was so interesting seeing the 2 characters meeting up and then having the first meeting be kind of like a miscommunication because both of them are so different, and them having them solving that. It was so great. It is dual POV, which I think that it was exactly what this book needed. I have tabbed it so much. It is definitely one of my favorite young adult books, I would say, and it's so summery. It's so perfect to be reading while outside having like the birds chirping like they're doing right now. It did have a couple of moments where it was like secondhand embarrassment, so if you're not okay with that, maybe don't pick this book up. But for me, I just overlooked them. Yeah, and I also think that I gave it like 4.5 stars, so a really good book. And then I have a popular author, and that is Stephanie Archer. So Stephanie Archer has a series called The Queen's Cove, I think it's called. I have read the first 2 books. I actually don't own the first book. I own only the second one and the third one. I haven't read the third one. I will say this one is probably the most summery. I think that this one was hyped a year or 2 ago, but I don't see that many people talking about it, and I think that it was so fun. This is essentially, she is not experienced and he has experience, so he's giving her lessons in order to find the guy of her dreams. It was very easy, it was very fast-paced. Also, the first book in the series was also like great, fast-paced, so easy to pick up and keep reading. This was actually, I think, my favorite out of the two. It was so like small town coded. I mean, I guess it is a small town. It takes place in a small town, but you could really feel it, feel the community, feel everyone knowing each other, and it was so fun. And as you can see, like, he's a surfer, so I think that just speaks volumes about it being a summery book. Then another summery book that is also part of a series is The Catch by Emily. This is the third book in the Influencer series. I have read the whole series. I do think that this one is the most summery, and I don't think that you need to read them in order. I would say that you need to read the first two in order, and then this one you can read it whenever, but these two I would definitely say read them in order. I actually really love every single book in this series, and the third one was so fun because it takes place in a small town in Canada. It's giving kind of like the same vibes as It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This is fake dating. It is grumpy sunshine. It is like big girl comes to small town, and it was really fun. I really had so much fun reading it. It was so easy to pick up. It was so bingeable, and I really do love Emily's writing. I know that the first two books got some criticism, but I think that if you don't take them that seriously, like, they're not meant to be heavy, hard-hitting books. They're meant to be silly, goofy, just a fun time, exactly what you need in summer. So I think that if you go into it without having crazy, like, this is going to be a masterpiece, I think that you would have fun. I gave the first book 4.75. I gave the second book, I want to say like 4.25, 4.5, and this one is a 4 stars. Then a book that it's kind of, how can I say it? It's a tiny bit frustrating, but it had great vibes, is Vacation Wars by Megan Queen. I read this 3 summers ago. This, I think I gave it 4 stars. Was it a masterpiece? Again, no. Was it frustrating at times? Yeah. Did I want to just remove some characters from existence? Also, yes. Essentially, this is about Tessa, her whole childhood, I guess. She used to go to this island, Santorini, Greece, where I live, so maybe that's why I enjoyed it. Anyways, she used to go to Santorini, and she would spend, I want to say, like a couple of weeks there, maybe like a month. And when she was younger, she had this crush on a boy, and years later she goes to this island to spend a couple of weeks there for kind of like a girls trip, I guess. And she runs into the boy that she had a crush on, but now obviously he has also grown, and his name is Miles, and we see them spending more time together, and that was great. I really loved that part. There were so many cute moments. What made this book not be fully my favorite is her sister. Her sister was crazy. She was too much. She would constantly be trying to make her sister go on dates, but I think that it was written in a way that it wasn't that funny. It was just annoying and frustrating. So the only part about this book that annoyed me was her sister. Overall, the moments that she had with Miles were so cute and were so just wholesome. So I would still recommend it, but just know that you might get frustrated at some points. And then the other books that I have are, again, part of a series, and that is the Chestnut Spring series. I have read only the first 2 books. I have the other 3, and I do plan on reading them this summer. So I have Flawless and Heartless. They just scream summer. Like, come on. I think that most people will have read them, so I'm not gonna talk about them that much. But if you're looking for an excuse, if you're looking for the right time to pick these books up, I would say that definitely right now is your time. I think that they're so fun. Again, small town cowboy romances. My favorite is definitely Heartless, but both of them are so fun. This is Grumpy Ex Sunshine, Single Dad. I do love a single dad romance. Yeah, there's something about it. Even like a single mom romance, like a single parent romance, will just grab my attention every time. And then this one is kind of like, how can I say this? Like forced proximity, let's say, kind of like forced to work together, kind of. It's kind of complicated, but it was very funny and I really enjoyed it. And also they're very short. The first 2 at least are relatively short. They might not look like it, but the font is really big and I enjoyed them so much. They were so fun. They were so easy to read. They were so easy to just binge. I got through them so quickly because I could not put them down, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next 3 books in the series. The only reason why I haven't actually already read them is because I'm scared about the 3rd book, because it is the biggest so far. Like, the font is tiny, it's a thick book, and also I don't really care about the characters. I know that sounds mean, but I don't really care about the characters, because I care about the other 2 books, but I don't care about the middle one. So I kind of don't want to read it, but I know that I should. Anyways, moving on, we have a book that I haven't heard anyone talking about it, but it's so good. That is Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrane. background, I think that The Charm Offensive is a more popular book from this author, and I guess you could also read that in the summertime, but this one was perfection. This was 5 stars for me. It is a bit more on the heavy side. I definitely cried while reading it. It was so beautiful. I loved it. It has some funny moments. This is essentially like a childhood friends, 2 enemies, 2 lovers, but they are forced to take this road trip with one of their mutual friends, I guess. But I would say check trigger warnings with this one, because I can see why it would be triggering for some people, especially kind of like the ending part, or like what is being talked about for the majority of this book. But yeah, I loved it so much. It's also a sapphic romance, so if you're looking for a sapphic romance, pick this one up. It was so good. I could not put it down. Also, I had already read The Charm Offensive by this author, and I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't for me. This one, like I said, I gave it 5 stars. I love it. It's so good. It was the perfect summer vibes. They were constantly talking about like how warm it was, so it was truly summery, and it takes place in summer, and essentially you're going in this road trip throughout a bunch of different states. It was so good. It was so fun, especially if you're like maybe taking a road trip this summer. This would also be great for that. The next book is The Match by Sarah Adams. This is a book that I read recently, and I really enjoyed it. Was it spectacular? No, but it was so fun. It was so easy to read. The audiobook, I actually listened to the audiobook of this one, was incredible. I really enjoyed it, and it was so summery, so fun, so lighthearted. Essentially, we have a female main character called Evie. We have Jacob, who is a single dad, and his daughter has epilepsy. So they asked Evie to have like a client consultation, because Evie helps people find the right service dog for them, and she also has one. So it had dogs in it, which was so fun, and it was so easy. So it was so cute, so easy to read. I loved the little kid in it, so I would also recommend this one. And there's also like a second book in the series. I haven't read that. Maybe I will pick it up this summer, but there's also like a second book if you're looking for a continuation, I guess. It is about different characters, but you know, it's still in the same world. Then I have Bridesmaid for Hire by Megan Queen. This is a book that I read last summer actually, and this was perfect. It was so funny. This is fake dating. We have a female main character, and she goes to this island to have a vacation from her business. Her business is essentially like bridesmaids for hire. So she goes to this island, and she runs into her brother's best friend that she did not like, and he's there in order to get into like the good graces of his boss. So they end up fake dating. It takes place on an island. It takes place in like a wedding scenery situation. It was so funny. You have a bunch of games that the whole wedding party is doing, and it was so fun. It was so easy to read. I highly recommend this book. I think that it was done so well. I really want to read the second book and the third one. I think that it's going to be only like a trilogy. And then I know that again, a lot of people will probably have read those, but the last physical books that I have to talk to you about, I do have some that I read on my Kindle, and I'm gonna talk about those too. But the last 2 physical books that I have are a duology, and that is the Belgier Sister series duology by Tessa Bailey. So we have It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line and Sinker. I love these books. I would say that It Happened One Summer is definitely my favorite out of the 2, but I still enjoyed Hook, Line and Sinker. Essentially, this is just summer in a book. It's kind of similar to The Catch, as I said earlier. So we have like a big girl city going into a small town, and he's like a fisherman. They don't really like each other. And here's the thing, I'm gonna be the first one to say that Tessa Bailey is not my favorite author anymore. I feel like her newer releases are not hitting as much as her previous ones. This book has something in it. This book, I don't know what she put in here, but this is just perfection. We have the banter. I love banter in it. This was great. We have a grumpy male main character and a grumpy female character. The setting is so summery. We have the small town vibes. Everyone knows each other and they're talking with each other. And at the same time, it's not that long. It is, how many pages is it? It's like almost 400 pages, and the font is pretty big. This was so great. This was amazing. I still think about this book. And honestly, if you know another Tessa Bailey book that has the same vibes as this one, not vibes, actually the same, that gives you the same feelings as this one, please let me know, because I have been chasing the thing that this book gave me, and I have read a bunch of Tessa Bailey books. None of them gave me the same feelings. This was just perfection. And then we have the second book, which is also really good. I think I give this around 4 stars. This is is a friends to lovers kind of situation. Roommates to lovers, actually, because they end up staying together, living together, so it's forced proximity. And this was so fun too. I still preferred this one, but this was also really, really fun. Have another series, and that is the Grumpy Devil series by Elizabeth O'Rourke. I read it a while ago, actually, but the second book, which is called The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, is so good. I also love the first book, but the second book is definitely my favorite. I would say both of them give summery vibes. The second one, it takes place in an island, so obviously it has more summery vibes. It was so good. It's like ex's brother, which I know sounds weird, but it's not. It was done so well. And one thing about these books is the fact that the banter is amazing. The final book, was not my favorite. I didn't love it, but the first two books were incredible. The third book was okay. I enjoyed it. But the first two, the banter, I'm telling you, the banter in these books, unmatched. Then I have How to Honeymoon Alone by Olivia Hale. This was such an unexpected 4-star read. I had so much fun with this one. I actually listened to the audiobook of this one last year, not thinking much. I was like, oh, I need an audiobook to listen to. Sure, this sounds fun. And I put it on and I was obsessed. From the first chapter, I was laughing out loud. We have a female main character and she was supposed to be married. Her marriage fell through. So now she's like, I cannot get the deposit back of this honeymoon. Let me go and have just the honeymoon alone. And then we have, I'm pretty sure that the male main character does the same thing. So essentially they're both having their honeymoons alone, and one night they end up meeting each other and they start to spend time together, and it was so good. I remember like it has so many summery things because I really wanted to like live the summer experience. So they would go help turtles go into the ocean. I highly recommend the audiobook too. Then another book is The Layover by Lacey Walden. This was so fun. Essentially this is about 2 flight attendants. I will say there were some things that were not for me necessarily, but I still gave it 4 stars because it was so easy to read. It was so lighthearted. It was so fun and so just summery. It was so good. I highly recommend this book, and I think that if you like this book, you should also read Shipped by Angie Hockman. I feel like those 2 books were very similar, I guess, in my head. The tropes are not similar, but they were very similar vibes, similar feelings. Shipped is about 2 people that work together and they end up being sent to this trip, and essentially it's kind of like the classic plot where the person that does the best job wins kind of situation. And I would definitely say that this one is a book that you should be reading by the beach. I feel like that's perfect. Then we have Clepoint by Meg Jones. This was again an unexpected read. It's about tennis. I don't really care about tennis, but I picked it up because it takes place in Greece. Part of the book takes place in Rhodes, which is an island in Greece. So I was like, okay, sure, I don't know what to read. Let me pick this one up. This was so good. This was so fun. It definitely deals with some heavier topics, and I would say, I guess, like, maybe check trigger warnings for this one. It is very much so, like, more so a niche topic, but I had so much fun with it. Essentially, there are 2 tennis players, but one of them is having a comeback because she had, like, an accident, my main character. But I feel my main character, there was a scandal about her, and she's trying to prove people wrong. So they're going into this, I guess, training camp in Rhodes, and they're forced to work together. It had drama. I love the plot. The romance was great. And yeah, I just think that it was so good. It is the first book in a series, and I definitely will be reading the rest. Then we have 40 Love by Olivia Day. This is a 5-star read of mine. I love that book. It says that it's the second book in the series. Honestly, I've read all of the books. The third one, which is a collection of novellas, was not my favorite. I really enjoyed the first one, but honestly, I would say that this one should be the first in the series. So if you were to read this series, pick up this one first, and then the first one, and then if you really want to, the third one. I wouldn't say that the third one is a must read, but if you want to, you can pick it up. This was a 5-star read. I have actually also reread it, and it's still a 5-star read. It has stand the test of time. It is about a female main character, Tess, and she's 40 years old. Actually, she's like 39, but for her birthday she's going on vacation with her best friend. There she meets our male main character, which I don't remember. Luca? I think his name is Luca. We're gonna go with that. So she meets him there. He's 27, 26. Am I wrong? I think that that's like kind of the age gap. So it's definitely like an age gap. She's the older character and he's the younger one. Essentially, he's the tennis instructor and she ends up taking classes with him. Just the opening scene of this book was incredible. It had me laughing, it had me swooning, it had me just giggling, kicking my feet. I love them so much together. It was so sweet, it was so wholesome. There were so many moments that you were rooting for them, and that's all that I want. There were moments that I felt bad for a female main character. I think that the author did such a great job with making them feel like real characters, and I loved it. I still think about this book. Obviously it's a 5-star of mine and I'm obsessed with this book. It was so good. The summer vibes were perfect. It was so realistic, but at the same time not like, it was realistic in a good way. It wasn't realistic in a boring way. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Then my most recent read, I would say, is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. This is the second book in the Not in Love series. I didn't like Not in Love, and this one wasn't my favorite. I have a reading vlog about it actually, but I still really enjoyed it. I think I give it 3.5. It was really fun. Again, this is an age gap. He's the older one and it's about two characters that we meet in the first book. I'm not recommending this book necessarily for the romance, even though the romance was good. I enjoyed it, but the reason why I'm recommending this book is for the setting. This takes place in Italy and it was done so well. The summer vibes in this book were amazing. It also has a wedding, which is a setting that apparently I really like when they're vacationing for a wedding, an island or a tropical destination, summery destination, I guess. And I had so much fun reading it. There were some things again that were annoying to me about our male main character and what he would say again and again and again, but I had so much fun while reading that book. And I do think that if you like Ali Hazelwood and you're kind of on the fence of picking that book up, maybe give it a chance. I will say it is a tiny bit spicy, so if you were not in love and you didn't like it, maybe don't pick up this one. Personally, I had fun. That was the last book. Obviously I have read The Summer I Turned Pretty, The Summer of Broken Rules. I do like those books, but they're not necessarily books that I think about constantly. I would recommend maybe like The Summer I Turned Pretty. Both of them gave me very summery vibes, so if you do like young adult, maybe give them a chance. I would say especially The Summer I Turned Pretty. Even maybe listen to the audiobooks, but to be honest, I feel like you don't really have to. They're not that great. I think that they're just very hyped. I will say The Summer of Broken Rules has a gorgeous cover, so there's that. So those are all the books that I would recommend for you to read this summer. I'm hoping that you found at least like a couple of books that you haven't read already. I feel like I put some not so popular books in here. I'm hoping that you like this video, and also if you have any recommendations of books that I didn't mention that feel very summery to you, please let me know, because I'm definitely looking for a lot more. I really want to read a bunch of summery books this year and this like summer. I'm hoping that it's going to make my summer more bearable, I guess. I'm not a summer person. I think that I already said that. So if you have any recommendations for amazing books, or maybe like similar books to the ones I mentioned, again, if you have a similar book to this one, please let me know. Please let me know. So yeah, that's all I had to say. I hope that you liked this video, and I hope that I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
You give me butterflies when you smile, and it feels so good.